All right, so I'm going to introduce Patti Reiss. She is a certified holistic health and nutrition recovery coach, educator, and chef. So she has a lot of titles. Her work now focuses mostly on teaching and coaching healthy lifestyle upgrades, addiction, mental health recovery, and holistic gourmet cooking.
Mhm.
Done using
Mm.
nutrition, food, amino acid therapy, meditation, and movement.
Yeah.
Through her own healing recovery, Patty has found that vibrant health, hope, and recovery are possible and advocates for this in all her teachings. She's a
Mm.
graduate of the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York City in the year 2000 and holds a Bachelor of Arts in Human Sciences, in Human Services, and Special Education from Trinity College in Vermont from 1978. She has completed the nutrient therapy for addictive disorders training with Julia Ross in June of 2008
Mm.
and has certified as a recovery nutrition coach through the Alliance for Addiction Solutions in 2014. She has been a board member of the Alliance for Addiction Solutions, promoting nutrition and integrative therapies for transforming the addictive brain since 2010 and served as a president till 2019. She now serves on the advisory board. And I've known Patty since 2017.
Hmm.
Really
Oh,
amazing.
2017 it was. Okay.
Yes, yes. We met at one of Christina's and the Alliance's educational weekend for, I guess. So I'm excited
Mm.
to hear learn more about your five-star pro recovery diet, Patty.
Well,
So thank
thank
you
you.
for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much, Falsa. And it's so lovely to be here with the Alliance again. Yeah, I was trying to think of what year that training was when I met you. So it was 2017. Yeah, yeah. Um, okay. I'm actually what I'd love to do. I'm going to bring up a PowerPoint. It's just going to guide my talk, and then I'll leave open. I may not go through every slide just because it's a little longer. Um, yeah, I have. We'll go through it, and then we'll have Q&A at the end. But I want to have enough time for people to talk or ask questions, and for us to just talk about food and the effect that it has on our brain and our entire life. So thank you for that intro, Valsa. And I'm going to just pull up. Uh, yes, so I'm just going to suggest everybody mute their phone except me. I mean, mute their audio. Um, so welcome everybody who's here on the call and also watching down the road. Um, I want to put the five-star pro recovery diet, um, actually it was initially part of the Alliance for Addiction Solution. Let me just back up through the Alliance many years ago before the Academy. So the certification now is now over with the Academy for Addiction Health Nutrition. We have a level 1 and a level 2 training, and I teach the five-star pro recovery diet. Initially, I did that again through the Alliance with Christina Veselak and Julia Ross. So that's kind of exciting, and it's just expanded into a little more information from my background as well too. And I say a food plan for recovery in life because it's not just recovery. It's essential, I think, for folks in recovery, but it's also for life. It's the way that I eat, and hopefully maybe some of you eat that way as well too. Uh, okay, I want to get this. There we go. Oh, back up. So I put this up here because our food, oops, hold on, pardon me, there we go. Our food becomes our cells, which affects everything in our lives. Um, the school that I went to that uh, Valsa just mentioned was the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Joshua Rosenthal was the founder of that school, and he used to say, "We are walking food." And I was like, what? What's he talking about? Well, I really understand that now more so because I've done this education with Julia Ross, Christina, and many others who were the founders of the Alliance, because it affects our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. It affects everything. And when we get that foundation, um, when we feed our foundation, when we feed our brain, our temples, then life starts to just get better. And yes, there are some things that need to be looked at. You need to look into why aminos might not be working, as you mentioned earlier, Christina, or what else is going on in our life. You still need to deal with everything else. But if you get that foundation in, then you can start opening up to looking at maybe what else you need to check into. And let me clarify a little bit. What I believe, and many of us believe, is that 80% of our mental health, our health can be corrected with food and lifestyle. Then there's that other 20%, right? And you're like, well, what's going on? The aminos aren't working, or this food isn't working. Then you need more testing, right? Then you need to go in and get some blood work done, hair analysis, genetic testing. You need to look into deeper why things aren't working for you. But we do believe there's about an 80% success rate when you change lifestyle and get the right food in for you. So I wanted to just plug that in. And then there's the 20%. I just had a hair analysis a couple weeks ago. I had one 6 months ago, and that really helped me. And I've had blood work done too, deal with some of the things I'm still dealing with. So it is good to do all those investigative check-ins. So this is basically it. This is the 5-star pro-recovery diet. These are the 5 stars. Number 1, protein. 2 is fats. And 3 is complex carbs. Those are our macronutrients. So we need them in different amounts to live and to create those cells, right? Star number 4 is personalized. So that's like what protein works for you. What are the best fats that work for you, right? Even vegetables. Some vegetables work better for some than others. Some people can't do cabbage. Some people do really well with cabbage. I mean, that's just one example, right? That's the personalization. And then the diversity is varying it, right? Just like a garden, we need to rotate our food a little bit, which can be annoying sometimes if you have like, I'm just going to do my protein shake for breakfast every morning, right? Well, we want to rotate that, slightly as much as possible. And then the 5th star is eating quality, clean food. This is a big one, particularly in all communities, but particularly in our recovery communities, because most people are not eating clean food, which is creating this whole other host of issues. So are these on your plate? Protein, fats, and complex carbs. And when I work with folks or teach about this, I have them visualize like a plate. When you're making your food, do you have some protein on it? Is there some fat on there? And then what are your vegetables? You may have some grains on there too, if those work for you. Are those on your plate? And if they're not on that plate, you want them to be on the next plate. Or bowl. Doesn't have to be a plate. So protein is number 1. And we talk about that a lot, probably in the Alliance, but for sure in the Academy, when we're teaching about eating protein every 3 to 4 hours. So why? Why protein? It is absolutely a critical part of every cell. It supplies our body with the amino acids, which form the neurotransmitters, which help our mood, hormones, nerves, blood, bones, skin, organs, enzyme functions. So it's a big deal getting our protein in. And of course, it helps balance blood sugar. So we want to make sure that, and I don't know about any of you, but I definitely have hypoglycemia. And when I was in early recovery, um, I definitely was very hypoglycemic. I was so dysregulated and the treatment center that I was at that time, they were not serving, we were having pizza. So you can imagine, I was like, what am I going to do? So, of course, I knew some of this because I was a certified health coach. So I had my sister bring me in protein shakes and cans of salmon, and I did did the best that I could. And there's some good treatment centers out there that are putting are adding good proteins into their foods. So this is a list of them. There are more, but poultry, cottage cheese, meat, fish, eggs, yogurt, full fat yogurt, we recommend tofu, quinoa, quality clean protein powder. This is interesting. I just was looking at my protein powder that I've been using, which is the not sunflower, Sun Warrior protein powder. And the hair analysis that I got back was mentioning that I need to stay away from gums right now, like gar gum, xanthan gum. And this is part of looking at, okay, what else do I need for my body to work well right now? And so it's to stay away from those gums. And I was like, oh, I don't think it's in this protein powder. And I turned the protein powder, I was like, dang, xanthan gum, gar gum. And they may not affect someone else, but right now, and this is why we're talking about the personalized food plan, it's affecting me. So I was like, okay, I can't get that protein powder. So I found another one. Of course, I can't remember the name of it, but it had like 5 ingredients in it. Um, it is not as flavorful as the other one, but I'm doing it because I'm not going to do gar gum right now for my body. So that's part of looking at finding a protein powder that works best for you. And they are out there. Um, Nuts and seeds, cheese, beans and rice together, tempeh, all protein foods. So this is just a generalization. Um, and again, this is kind of a snippet of what I teach for the academy for their training. So I'm not doing a full class here, but I took some of that to just create an overview of what this 5-star pro-recovery diet means. So for men, about 60 to 80 a day, and for women, 40 to 60 grams a day, or you can take total body weight, and that could be your grams per day. So a 140-pound woman would eat 70 grams a day, split up in 3. Folks, and some of you that are coaches or healing yourself or are working with someone, they may need to be reminded of this, like grams, counting how much, looking at how much food in, particularly recovery. If their brain is not stabilized yet, they need help and they may be written out. um, Blood type can help you choose the most digestible food, and we're going to talk about that. Vegan sources are okay, but they're much harder to get. And we've seen this over and over again with people who are choosing the vegan lifestyle. So, yeah, they've got to work a lot harder to get the protein in. And then, of course, we always remind people to eat protein every 3 to 4 hours. So this is our second star. This is fat. And this is actually taken, friend not foe, is actually taken from Julia Ross's The Mood Cure book. She talks about what happened in the 70s when they took fat out of our diet and they said fat is bad. Well, it was a bad thing to do because we went from all these good fats to fake fats and margarine, and now trans fats were introduced back then. So this is crazy now, those of us that know about importance of fat. But that's how it was back then, like, oh no, we're just going to take that out. No fat here, this one. So unfortunately, that did happen. I was actually in high school and college at that time, and actually addicted at that time too. So it wasn't a fun time for me, but it is now. So why I'll friend info. It's the code for every single brain cell. So if we don't have the proper fat coming in, the neurotransmission can't communicate with the cell. So it's critical. Helps in the production of our reproductive hormones and adrenals. It supports a healthy, which is part of that. It helps prevent carbohydrate cravings. And for men, gives you more energy. It's like a longer last energy, and particularly for people who need more fat. Talk about that with star number 5. It helps keep our bowel and it makes up 60% of the brain. So we are essential that we have good in. This is just a list of different fats. So the threes are on the left, you can see, and those are our top fats. The omega-3 really the anti-inflammatory we want to get in the most. And you can see there's lots of fish in this one. Salmon, mackerel, anchovies, tuna, um, egg yolks, uh, even more than egg whites. Don't yolks. Do not get rid of your please. Flax and oil. Obviously, the flax seeds have to be ground down. Walnut, a better delivery system for the walnuts. Omega-3 in the walnuts. Soak them and then hydrate them. And you can just stick them at a low temp in your oven. And then chia seeds. And there's actually some omega-3 in leafy greens. There's another push for getting those greens in there. And you can see the omega-6 is obviously a different oil, a different fat, sesame, sunflower, almond, primrose oil, black seed oil. Animal meats are 6s. So I often want some of my students and clients to have a visual of this, and I have them copy it and put it in the kitchen like behind a cabinet. So learn, oh, wait, am I eating any omega-3s? Wait, I'm actually doing a lot of omega-6s, right? If they're doing animal meats or they're doing a lot of almonds, getting enough fat in, getting a 6 in. So I just want to bring that point up. We need a mix. And we need 3 and 6 and 9, a little bit of 6 and 9. So again, that of these and then of course a little bit of saturated fats. But the omega-9s is olive oil, avocado. I have a lot of clients that love olive oil and they do avocado. And I was like, that's great. Where's your omega? So then they're like, oh. So then they add in some more walnut, start eating fish, even if they don't like it. They can learn to like it. There's a way to learn to like fish. And last is saturated coconut oil, butter, and ghee. Ghee is my favorite. I cook a lot with that. It's butter, so the casein, the dairy is taken out of it. And in Ayurvedic cooking medicine, they call it liquid gold because it's used a lot in medicinal cooking and it's delicious. It can be high heat. So those are all, well, butter's not a high heat oil, but ghee and coconut oil. And this is just a general serve amount here, 3 to 4 serves a day. One serving is about a tablespoon of oil or a half of an avocado. This varies again to you and what your body needs. So that's again the personalization of what you need. Number 3. This is star number 3 now. Complex carbs. A very good friend of ours. So what are complex carbs? You can see it's vegetable, grains, nuts. Actually, nuts have fat in them too. Fruits considered a complex carb. And I remember, I'll just share that about my older. This was years ago. He was like, Patty, I just decided, I'm cutting carbs out in my diet. And I said, oh, are you? You're cutting out vegetables? He goes, that's not a carb. I was like, oh, brother. My big brother who has a master's degree and he was just, but what he's thinking about was these. That's what he's cutting out. Cutting out these carbs. He's cutting out simple carbs. So I helped him. I said, Chuck, what you're really doing is cutting out this carbs. And this is what a lot of people are eating. You all know. And I did as well, right? Simple carbs dysregulate sugar. There's no nutrient. Basically, it's zero nutrients. We have food colorings and additives. They feed the bacteria in our gut. So people have a lot of gut issues. This food feeds that. And it's highly, right? So you want to be eating complex carbs and not the simple carb. So mostly vegetables as much as possible. But then we have fruits, we have grains and legumes. So mostly vegetables, that's a mix. Leafy greens, cruciferous sprouts, seaweed, broccoli, on and on. And then fruits, we say mostly berries because they're dense. And the more we can get berries in, they have the most nutrients. So they're yeah, I don't think I have it in here. So the more we, and I'm not saying bananas aren't great. Bananas are also high in sugar. We want to get in the berries colors too, which are the phytonutrients. Grains, brown rice, amaranth, buckwheat, oats, bar sprouted wheat, and rye all have gluten in them. So we say with caution those people who are having issues with gluten. I did there is and with oats too have a little bit of gluten in them, but there's a couple companies there now that are certified gluten and they're actually sprout. So this is where, looking for those companies that set and if you buy in bulk, it's less expensive. I know that's an issue for some folks, but if you buy in bulk, share it with other folks, a great way to do it. Legumes is also a carb, which is beans, peas, soybeans. Why do we want to eat mostly vegetables? They provide the vitamin minerals, which are the cofactor to make our neurotransmitter. So for all those carnivores out there, and we promote protein, but we don't promote protein. They are not getting their vitamins and minerals. They're not getting in the enzymes to break the protein down. Um, Veggies are fuel for energy, and we get all the phytonutrients like I was talking about in the colors. Do the colors like yellow vegetables, the greens, phyto. I mean, most of our fiber comes from vegetables, so it also feeds the good bacteria, which helps us digest food. And then there's also removing some of the stuff we don't want anymore, which really helps colon issue. The brain function without vitamins and minerals. And I know people said, well, I'll just take a vitamin, a multivitamin. It's not food. Yes, it's helpful for sure. And for early recovery, that's all they're doing is getting some protein in, put them on suggest maybe multivitamin. But actually they need the fiber, they need the food because it's still processed in some capacity if it's a supplement. So how much? There's a lot. 7 to 9 servings. Now I know that, how am I ever going to get that in? If you just start adding vegetables into your on plate, into your smoothie, into each of your plates, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because you can do that, you'll get most of this in. And for folks that are working, clients that are actually practitioners, people might need help with, they're like, they may need to, what am I putting on my plate? Like how much, I'm not getting any vegetables in. So that's, we can come in and suggest, whether it's a client or your brother or child. Mention about superfoods. These are the dense foods. You can see on here, there's a whole list. I'm not going to go through the whole list. But berries are on there, like I mentioned earlier. You see how up there, flaxseed, green leafy vegetables are considered a superfoods are nutrient dense. So you're getting a lot in a smaller amount. We encourage that. Hemp seed are a superfood, which is great, vegan type of, and also fat. Uh, Pomegranate, quinoa, seed vegetables. See, vegetables have a lot of nutrients in them. Sprouts, my favorite. And then we like to mention bone broth fermented foods. Those are considered superfoods because they really help the body, particularly bone broth. And I did bone broth folks in early recovery because the digestive system is just so off that it may just like a little bone broth and maybe a shake, but sometimes they can't even do a shake right away. They're rebuilding their whole gut biome, especially people who have had allergies. It's a long road, but it's a bone broth can help quite. And these are pretty simple to get in, and they're so available now. They're available, but now I've seen a lot of places. Even Trader has microgreens now. And they're one of the highest concentration of nutrient calorie of food. Vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, enzymes, chlorophyll, and some protein. I just put them on things all the time. Actually make my favorite quick meals is basically a good slice of bread with a nut that work, whatever nut butter, and then hemp seeds. You could put a little bit of jam on it if you wanted to, or some fresh fruit. Hemp seeds, fresh fruit,
You can also learn
and
more.
microgreens. So sprouts and I did try growing them. It's many people can. I can't, so I'd stopped. But they're very available. Sugar, let's just talk a little bit of is a addictive drug. And a lot of people quit eating alcohol or maybe weed or even pharmaceuticals and switch over to sugar. So it's just another and a lot. It's in a lot of the recoveries, you go in and there's like cookies and coffee and cookies and coffee and cakes. Um, and people are drawn to that, of course. It tastes delicious, but it is absolutely really hard on the brain. Um, and it leads to mood swings. I mean, this is part of the hypoglycemia thing too, it leads to mood swings. So we recommend when someone's craving sugar to eat some protein and even some fat. Again, every 3 to 4 waking hours. There are some aminos that work really well for cravings for sugar, which is glutamine. Glutamine is actually an amino acid that can actually help the craving be reduced really quickly. There's also 5-HTP, tyrosine, and D-phenylalanine. We would recommend working with a coach that knows about these amino acids. There are lots of coaches through the academy and other places, Julia Ross, and through the Alliance too. They have a lot of connections. So finding someone that knows about the amino acids is important. So star number 4. So this is personalized food. This is what works for you. And again, I'm just going to go do a little overview on this. Let me check my time. Oh, I'm doing good. So we are all bio individuals. This is an old photo of my daughter. A long time ago, she was actually in college and I went to visit her. We have the same aprons on, but we eat differently. But we can still sit at the same table. So she is blood type O, and I'm going to get into the blood type in a minute. I'm blood type A. She has a lot of Vata, which is an Ayurvedic personalization, and I have Pitta. So I wanted to put that up there because we are all unique. So looking at someone's health history, obviously we look at that and go, okay, what's going on in your health? And a lot of the folks that come through the academy work with an assessment called the NAQ, which is a nutritional assessment questionnaire. It's fascinating. I work with a health history form as a health coach. We did that in the very beginning of school. And then you want to look at your genes, the genetics too. Again, that 20%, the people that aren't getting better from their lifestyle changes and food, then the genetics are so fascinating now. There's so much available to us that we can find information about that can help us feel better and help our loved ones and our clients or patients feel better. Um, Food intolerances and allergies. So obviously those would affect us on an individual basis. One of the reasons I bring in the blood type is for that reason, because many folks don't know what they're intolerant to or what they might be allergic to until they eat it. I mean, that's a great way to know. You don't feel good um, after you eat it. But the blood type helps kind of puzzle piece that a little bit better together. So the blood type looks at your genetics. It's actually ancestral. So blood type O's were the hunter-gatherers. Those are the folks that do well with more protein. The ancestral background of blood type O's ate protein. They were hunter-gatherers. They ate protein. They had very little grains that wasn't available to them. So those folks do better. And a lot of it is based on the lectin theory that on certain foods there are these molecules called lectins, and they actually, um, um, if someone from blood type O eats, let's see, gluten, for instance, it can actually agglutinate. They can actually clump together the cells and create this inflammatory response. So it's helpful for people in early recovery and just in life in general to look at that, particularly if something's going on with your health and your body. And in early recovery, there's something going on with your health and your body and your brain. So I often try to help people look at, okay, well, if you're blood type O, you may want to stay away from certain grains, from gluten. You may want to stay away from, there's a few fruits and vegetables too that don't work as well for blood type O. There's a great app. It's called the Blood Type app, and people can look it up and get information on it and look at, oh, wow, that makes sense. Yeah. Blood type A's do better with different types of protein. I mean, not as much protein as O. I mean, O's can pretty much do all protein. Blood type A is less. They do better with fish and with tempeh. They do okay with soy. Um, Blood type B's have a different profile too. So my encouragement, if you're interested in that, you can look it up and get more information. It is based on genetic and ancestry too. So Peter Diadamo has done great work in that field. The Ayurvedic food system is a very ancient food system from India, and it's based on looking at you as an individual and your nature. So some folks come in with more, pitta is more fire. They're fiery, so they don't do as well with, let's say, spices or working in the sun. There's other characteristics of each what they call the dosha, which is more like your constitution. And you can get online and find out like, hey, what's my constitution? What's my dosha? And you can take a quiz. And you'll know, like, I've never done well with oregano or sriracha. Like, I can't do it. Like, I just never have. And even when I've had like one of my brothers is like, you just need to try this. And I'm like, I'm not gonna try it. It's hot. I hate it, So, and it creates imbalance for me. So it helps folks understand themselves and what foods work better for them. Vatas, for instance, and I just want to mention this, especially for a lot of our recovery audience. Vata is air. They're thin. They forget to eat. There's characteristics where they're like, oh, I don't really need to eat, and then it's 6 o'clock and they haven't eaten. That could be an out of balance Vata. And Vatas also don't do well with raw salads. I learned that and I was like, oh, I mean, everyone's like, just have a salad. Well, Vatas are air and they're dry, so they need more cooked foods. They need their vegetables cooked. They need creamy soups, warm things that help their nature, their body do better. I hope that makes sense. And you can ask questions about this afterwards. And then kaphas are folks that need salads. They're larger folks, they need to get going, so they do well with sriracha and salads and ginger and things that are moving their energy because their system is more naturally sluggish. So these again are helping people look at, oh, okay. So the metabolic type, the last one we're just going to chat about today, is how you burn food. What how you burn food. So there's a fast metabolizer, there's a slower metabolizer, and then there's a mixed. So people who are fast metabolizers, they actually need, I'm just looking for my book, they need more protein and fat. Like 70% of their diet should be come from that. And if you look up the metabolic typing diet by, gosh, what is his name? Um, I don't even have it here. Hold on, folks. Oh, I do. Hold on. I got it. This is it. And there's more on this as well too, but this is the metabolic typing diet by William Walcott and Trish Fahey. So people who are fast metabolizers, they're burning through. And I've noticed over the years, people in early recovery, even if they may not be a fast metabolizer, they seem to be in the first year of recovery. They're burning through. So guess what? They need more protein and they need more fat. Yes, they need vegetables too. You need the vitamins and minerals in there too, but less of that and more of that, which is protein and fat. That's a fast metabolizer. Now, a slower metabolizer doesn't mean like it means you actually need more of your main percentage from complex carbohydrates. You still need fat and you still need protein. Okay. I don't want to complicate this too much, but it's what I'm trying to get at here is helping you understand that what works for you may be different than what works for your partner or your child or your friend, right? And then there's the mixed burner, which is basically 50% of protein, fat, and 50% complex carbs. And again, there's a great questionnaire in here, and you could probably look it up online now because there's so much on there. You don't need books anymore, but please use books still. The questionnaire that's in here is so fun because it's basically takes you through like, okay, you pull up to a restaurant, what do you want to eat? And they give you a menu ideas, and then you pick what you would intuitively go for. So it brings in intuitive eating too, which is cool. Um, I will add to intuitive eating that a lot of people will say, I'm just going to eat intuitively, and that's great. And when your brain is in a balanced place, you can really tap into your intuition and go, oh, I don't want that. I like that. But in the early parts of recovery, I would say that not everybody is tapping into their intuition. They may be tapping into their cravings. Um, so just a little, so as we can help guide them to eating a more balanced, clean food plate, then they can tap into their intuitive eating and go, oh, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to eat that. I'm going to have this over here. But again, we all need fats, proteins, and complex carbs. So the more you understand about your body type and your digestive abilities, the more you'll be able to choose foods that support your well-being rather than detract it. Again, fast burner, protein type, slow burner, carb mix type. The other thing we also like to remind folks about is daily calories, getting enough of that in. Some folks just don't get enough calories in. They're doing like, you know, 12 or 1,300 calories a day. That's not enough. Women need about 2,600 and men need about 32. It's like, and it will depend. If you're in recovery, you probably need a little more. So this is where we really want to keep an eye out for people who are under eating. Or, I mean, I would even say under eating is eating a lot of junk because you're not actually feeding your brain or your body. So This is where we come in, and it can taste good. Also, people who are ill or in early recovery, they have trouble digesting their food, so they need support with that. That's why I was mentioning the bone broth. So the last star is quality clean food. Let me check my time. Oh, okay, we're getting closer. Okay, I went too long on that one. Okay, reduce our toxic load. We want to go organic. There's tons of assassins in foods like MSG, aspartame. Um, I like to put this in here because it's still amazing to me that even in 2026, this loophole is still in place. Okay, it was start. It's called grass, generally regarded as safe. That doesn't mean it's safe. That's why we have so much junk in our food, because they just keep passing it through. So this is where we have to be educated about it. Of course, GMOs, um, and these are some of the big ones: aspartame, high fructose corn syrup. These all harm our bodies and brains and our children's and everybody. And what are symptoms? Brain fog, low energy, chronic inflammation and pain. Like that's real. It's like, oh, I'm in pain. What are you eating? What are you not eating? Depression, anxiety, generally feeling crummy. And for many, that leads to cravings. When you don't feel good and you're ill, your actually neurotransmitters are down regulated. So where are you going to go? You're going to go to that sugar, or you're going to go to that alcohol, or pantry clean out and restock. So try to eliminate items with known toxins, replace them, keep the kitchen stocked as much as possible. I mean, you may need to get new vegetables, but you can freeze things too. Um, I don't have it on here, but I have it on a lot of my cooking videos. Cook once, eat 2 to 3 times. Eliminate nutrient dense foods, and it helps with cravings. The Pantry Principle is a great book. It's written by Mira Desi. Um, I used to have all my books so handy. Anyway, she's a nutrition educator. She went through terrible digestive issues, went from doctor to doctor, like many folks, couldn't get it. Nobody was getting what was going on with her. She finally met with a nutrition coach, and she's like, hey, maybe you should look at your food. You think? And she started like eliminating things and adding things. And then she just was like, oh my goodness, changed. Her life changed. She became a nutrition educator. So it's a great book. It's a simple book. It's wonderful. The Pantry Principle has lots of things about shopping and cooking, and yeah, mostly your pantry, but it's great, especially for shopping. Also, check out the valuable resource for feeding recovery. It's if you go to eatingproteinsaves.lives.org, which is connected to the Academy for Addiction and Mental Health Nutrition. It's the nonprofit that goes with them. We've done a lot of free stuff on there for folks to go and get support. So please take that information. There's videos on there. There's shopping lists. We've done a lot on there. So we really want to encourage folks to use that resource. Um, how to implement a pro-recovery diet. Get into your kitchen and cook. That's the main one. That's the main takeaway. Join our Plate Up class, a cooking, eating, and lifestyle class for recovery and vibrant health. I don't think we're doing one until the fall, but you can get in touch with me and through some of our other chefs and coaches. And join our 5-star Recovery Chefs Collaborative and classes. That's just beginning. I met 2 chefs at this retreat that I just went to with the Academy. And so we are creating, and there's one on the call right here, Christina. We want to create a platform for people to learn more about getting into their kitchen and cooking and making these regular meals and not being afraid to get in there, because we are all chefs. If you're making a piece of toast with some nut butter, you're a chef. Wait, there was one more. Oh, I missed something. Okay. And I wanted to end with food is love. You deserve this. Um, you deserve this love. This is our foundation. It's been overlooked in our world, unfortunately, and it has created so many issues for so many of us, including me. I was way addicted to sugar before I found alcohol. And then, all I was basically eating was bagels, and Jello. Well, actually, Jello is not bad if it has a little bit of gelatin in it. But I mean, honestly, and then I found alcohol. So my brain was so underfed as many because we were just didn't learn it. We're not learning this in schools, which is kind of a tragedy, but it's shifting. The Alliance is sharing this, the Academy, there's many schools out there, nutritional therapy. I mean, there's so much out there now sharing this information, and we're starting to change our world and we're starting to change the outcome of addiction and mental health. And thank you all for being part of it because the Alliance started it many years ago and it's continuing to do that. And we continue to feed ourselves and others. And yeah, so I'm going to end there.